I'm going to pick a token that I've never looked at before. So I have a fresh chart and I can go through all the steps that I do from the beginning to end without any preconceived notions. So I'm looking for, in the perpetuals, I'm looking for something that has a lot of volume, that swings a lot, um, and something right now that I don't know. I'm preferably going to look for something that has a longer trade history than just a week. Oh yeah, this is the one I saw earlier that I want to look at. This is pump. So we've got an established W pattern that has already been formed, and now it looks like it's testing some of the support and resistance lines. So I'm going to start with the daily time frame. I'm looking for body candle closes of highs and lows, swing highs and lows, and I'm going to mark those out. These are just points of interest that I'll want to be able to refer to and understand how it comes into play in my trading plan. So this previous swing high was the resistance. We pumped through it. We've corrected back down through it. And now it's making another swing. Now it's establishing a swing low on the daily time frame. And this is the swing high. This is our swing low. I guess I'll include the wicks. Okay. Now what I notice as soon as I'm looking at a chart for the first time, and I've identified the recent high, the recent low, I want to know how price is trading in relation to that trading range. This dotted line in the middle of the blue shaded area is the 50% or the mean of the trading range. Anything trading below it, where it currently is now, is termed discount. This is where we would be looking for longs if we're looking for price to go higher. And this section above the dotted line, that is the premium. We don't want to be buyers in the premium section. We want to be buyers when it's trading at a discount in our trading range. Now, if you notice, we've had 3 candles close above our moving average. This is the 60 EMA 60 moving average. So as I'm thinking about, oh, where's my stop loss going to be? It's below these recent relatively equal lows. So this EMA seems like it's acted as support on a daily basis for the last half a week. That's important to me, and the thing that stands out to me next is the current daily candle has engulfed, right? It has taken over, swung from the previous day low, and it's exploded past the previous day high, and it's making its way into the other moving average lines. So we'll see that represented on lower time frames. But if I'm looking at this from a trader standpoint, I'm thinking, oh, we've just printed a swing low. We've had an explosive move after 3 days of trading. My trade theory is that this swing low is in, so I'm looking for longs. I'm going to use my RSI relative strength index. I'm going to note that we've had created a swing low and we've printed a new higher low. I'm going to connect those with a trend line. It takes 2 points to create at least one trend line. So now I have an idea of where I presume RSI support to be going forward. I'm also noticing, now that I'm looking at RSI, that it's just broken into the 50 barrier, the 50 mark. That's a bullish sign as well. So if in my trade ideas, I'm opening my computer, I want to know where can I find a trade, I pull up this new token, try to get familiar with it. And the first things that I'm noticing is we've established a bottom on RSI on a daily time frame. We've had price bottom out and be supported by the 60 EMA moving average defined by the purple line. And we're still trading in a discount to my theorized trading range from the swing high to the swing low. So now that I've defined on a higher time frame what's important to me, what direction I want my trade to go in, whether it be long or short, Then I'm going to go down to smaller time frames and look for entries and other important indicators, points of interest that I think will be important to my trading plan. One thing I should point out is you can clearly see the W that formed on this trade. A lot of times when you see this pronounced W, when the first leg of the W is lower than the second leg of the W, again, those are higher, it's a higher low. It pumps all the way through that peak, right? That previous high, pumps through that, and it comes down and is going to test the level that is near or around the peak of this W, right? The middle part of the W. Things that stand out to me on the 1 hour time frame is we had a fairly established resistance area right here at this blue line. I can't make it blue. Let's make it something else. Let's make it red for resistance. Okay. So for a number of hours, price traded up to this or tested this as resistance. And we've had an explosive move through that resistance. And I'm wondering if we had any tests of that, retests of it in that 1 hour candle that exploded through it. But this is all, again, this is a confluence of I should not be looking for shorts. I should be looking for buys. We just blew through an established local resistance area. Now, where's my next resistance area? What's the next hurdle? If I'm trading level to level, I need to identify them before I get into my trades. And if you look here, here's another group of relatively equal highs. So I'm going to define that, and that is going to be my next area of resistance. So if I was aware and I was or got into this trade earlier, and we break through our first level of resistance, I'm now looking for my take profit, first level of take profit at this next area. This is another point of interest. So I'm not expecting us to blow through this. I would expect some resistance because it's been tested once here, two, three, so 4 times this level has been tested on an hourly basis as resistance, and it's not closed the body of any of those candles, those tested 1 hour candles above this line. So until I see that, my presumption is this is an area where there's going to be some headwinds, and I'm building that into my trade plan. So I'm either, if I have a trailing stop loss, then I'm going to expect that that will probably get hit if there's going to be a hard rejection. So then I have to decide, do I believe in this trade enough to remove my trailing stop loss and just have my stop loss at entry, right? We're at break even effectively to give it some room to move up and down. I would give this trade the room and be okay with breaking even on this. Um, After this level that we just identified, what's the next level? Say price explodes up here. There is no resistance. I'm totally wrong. And price is going to just keep going higher. Where do you see on this, where I see on this chart as the next point of interest in this area of resistance is the next area that was previously support. So anything that was previously support, it needs to be retested, and typically they will be flipped as resistance until proven otherwise. So this right here, this was a previous resistance level, flipped it, peaked, came down and tested this area. Let's make it a box rather than one definite line. Just call that the area of resistance. Okay, so this white rectangle is going to be our next level of resistance. It was previously support. So if I'm in a trade, I got in, remember down here, we've crossed through it and demolished the first level of resistance, flip that to support. Now we're approaching the next level of resistance. So, and then this is our third level of resistance. Now it's 6:30. We have an hour and a half left of trading before the weekly candle closes. So historically, I would think we're going to get strong bullish price action heading into the close. Whether they maintain that or not, it's 50-50. But I think that after the selling pressure we had in the beginning of the week, we had a lot of fear. And after a few weeks of correction, prices have tried to stabilize. Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them are at major areas that were previously resistance. Now we're trying to flip them as areas of support. 200 and 210 on Solano, roughly 4,000 on Ethereum. Bitcoin, we're trying to hold that 110 to 112 range, get that as support for a continuation higher if we're all bullish on the crypto markets. Now I'm looking at this pump on the 1 hour time frame, and we've just been focusing on price action up here. I'm now noticing on the RSI action that we're 75 to 78 on the RSI. And if I scroll back through the hourly price action, we've peaked at 87, 88, 84. So there isn't much more headroom on RSI. So if I know that I have a resistance level up here at this red line, and I know that there's RSI is in an exhaustion phase, overbought, do I want to attack this area of resistance from an exhausted RSI standpoint? I don't. I don't want to attack it because it would lack the momentum to continue higher. So I would like to see somewhat of a correction on the RSI, let it build a base, let it build some sideways action. Sideways price action will allow the RSI to come down and allow for maybe another explosive move and try and flip that next level of resistance at these relatively equal highs. And then it's the same, right? If this move to take this, if I'm theorizing that in order to take this next area of resistance, RSI needs to build up some strength, needs to correct a little bit, then I think that I'm going to be running into a timing issue of an 8 o'clock. If I have the weekly close as my endpoint that I want to be out of this long that I'm in, because I'm worried about whipsaw action after the weekly print, then I have to be more cautious because I'm anticipating there to be some time of RSI to build up. So I don't know if I'm going to be targeting my top take profit as this previously support area up here in the white rectangle. I don't know if we can have a chance to attack that before the weekly close candle. So I need to be flexible in my trading plan to understand I went in with this as my idea. This is my hypothesis. These are the reasons why I think this is a good idea along. These are the areas that I expect resistance. And if those resistances become support, I'm expecting continuation higher to the next point of interest. If at any point in my trade, things don't go as planned at the resistances or at the supports, then I have to have a plan for exiting. And typically that would be, a trailing stop loss. If I'm trading leverage, it may just be me manually being the stop loss to watch over things. Okay, let's talk about the moving averages. So once I've identified on the higher time frame a trading range, this blue area, I've defined that price action is trading in the discount of my proposed trading range. So I can be looking for longs. I've identified on a daily time frame that RSI is making higher lows and is uptrending. So I'm looking for longs. I've identified areas of resistance that are 2 and 3 levels above where price action is currently. I'm going to be looking at these estimated, the moving average lines you see on the chart, and I'm looking for one of the time frames to jump off the page as like just trading it with just those lines, support, resistance. So I'm looking for patterns on the 15-minute, the 5-minute, the 1 minute, the 1 hour, just seeing if there's anything that stands out